Everybody, it's your boy Ruben. New week, new video. It's been a little minute, but I wanted to wait for free agency. Give it a good week, see what's going on. Gonna talk a little bit about Cowboys, Jags approach to free agency. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so let me go ahead and start with the Cowboys because there's actually the least bit amount of news with the Cowboys in terms of what they're doing in free agency. Their biggest thing was basically signing Dak Prescott. So I think that's their biggest move. They have very limited resources when it comes to signing people in free agency because of the contracts. They've signed a lot of their own to big contracts. Amari Cooper, Dak now, Zeke, D-Law. So we knew they didn't have a lot of cap room coming into this season. However, by signing Dak, they were able to save $15 million as opposed to if they gave him the franchise tag. So I did expect to see a little more than what I'm seeing now. Jerry Jones has been a little bit, for lack of a better word, cheap in free agency. I don't know how else to say it. But in the Cowboys situation, as opposed to the Jags that I'll get into, the Cowboys have a very good team in terms of talent on the roster. The Cowboys don't necessarily need a lot of big names, but I would have liked to have seen them fill out the roster more with more solid players, particularly on the defense. Till we resolve our safety issues, I'm still going to maintain that I'm convinced that Earl Thomas has a body locked in a closet, and that's why he hasn't been signed yet. Because he should come for cheap. He should come on a short-term deal. We have a dire need of free safety, and we also have a defensive coordinator who's actually coached him. So I don't understand why he hasn't been signed. I think he will fix a lot. His experience will work wonders for the younger players in the secondary. So that's where we're at with that. I did see that we have DeMonte Casey and Malik Hooker on the docket to come visit. Both are interesting, but if you watch Atlanta, I kind of want nothing to do with any Atlanta safety. Atlanta was horrid against the pass. Casey has a little bit of potential. He flashes some speed, some sideline to sideline ability. He has familiarity with the scheme. He had a 7 interception season, but he had a torn Achilles, and so there's questions there. I think I think both him and Malik Hooker fit the bill of single high safety with range. But Casey's a little bit older. My preference would be if they're going to sign one, go with Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker is a little bit younger. Yes, he has injury histories, has an injury history as well. But the difference between the two is Casey's kind of had that flash in the pan year, and we haven't quite seen it since. Malik Hooker, being that I'm familiar with him being a Jags fan, when he's on the field, he's always around the ball. He's a ball hawk. The only issue with him is keeping him on the field. So I would prefer Malik Hooker. He's younger, constantly around the ball. When he was coming out of the draft, like people were giving him comparisons to he's an Ed Reed type. Not saying that he's Ed Reed, but like that name was being thrown around when it came to Malik Hooker. So I think I would go with Malik Hooker. That's just me personally. The rest of the cap room, I would like to see them sign some veterans like Ndamukong Suh's still out there. I think we have money for that. I think that would help out the entire defense because we'd have interior pass rush. It would give D-Law a partner in crime, like an inside-out kind of deal. And if not him, Geno Atkins was released by the Cincinnati Bengals. So there's options out there. I think maybe it is a little bit smart for the Cowboys to kind of wait, stay out of the first wave because the first wave of free agency is usually super expensive. But I think a lot of things that people weren't considering in terms of free agency from the business aspect is the cap went down by a lot. It went from like over 200 million to like 180, 182-ish. I don't have the exact number, but it's in the 180s. Teams lost, cap room, and combine that with this wasn't the strongest year for free agency, so the market has been depressed. That's why you're not seeing a lot of the huge deals that we're used to seeing. And I think a lot of players are seeing that. That's why you see guys like Aaron Jones went back to Green Bay. There's another player that went back to their team as well. But long story short, there just wasn't a market. So that's where we're at with that. And let me go ahead and just dive into the Jags real quick. All right. Well, before I get to the Giants, Cowboys, please just sign a couple free agents on defense that matter. Uh, Ndamukong Suh, Geno Atkins, Earl Thomas. If you're not going to go Earl Thomas, go with Malik Hooker. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into the Jaguars. Jaguars went ahead and signed. The Jaguars were doing virtually nothing. They were doing similar to what the Cowboys are doing. And then they went ahead and signed Shaquille Griffin, which is the big headline. Which puts us in a weird place because we were so thirsty as a fan base to see a big signing, considering all the cap room we had. That Shaquille Griffin, like everybody was like, "Oh, thank God, we signed somebody," right? Here's how I feel about the Shaquille Griffin signing. I think it's a good signing. I think 3 years, 40 something million. It's not bad. It shows, it doesn't lock them into anything. They got a cornerback that's in his prime that might still have, road to run in terms of, reaching higher levels of his prime. But at the end of the day, I do think Shaquille Griffin is between an okay to good corner, which for us is great because we had a hole at the other corner, and then you had C.J. Henderson, who was a rookie, and then he was in and out. I think he steadies the corner position for us because now we'll have him, C.J. Henderson. We re-signed Sidney Jones and Trey Herndon. So I think he steadies the secondary in terms of the cornerback role. Nothing against Shaquille Griffin. I mean, he has good athleticism. He wasn't the greatest at tracking the ball. Ball skills are a little bit of a thing with him, but he's a physical corner, fast corner. You can do worse, and we weren't committed to him that long. So I think there's a nice little boomer. I don't want to say bust, but uh, at least there's an opportunity for it to boom, low risk, high reward. That's the better way to say it, right? He had a Pro Bowl in 2019, and last year they were kind of meh on defense, and a lot of people would say that the Seahawks weren't all that great on defense. But if you watch the second half of the year, the Seahawks defense did get better, and I don't necessarily credit the secondary with the issues the Seahawks had. The Seahawks issues were were due to pass rush. There was a lack of pass rush, and if you know defense, you know that you can only cover for so long. So if you're not getting to the quarterback, the corners can't do their job. They can only cover for so long. So there's that. We also signed a box safety, Rayshawn Jenkins. Not a bad move, solid move. I don't think too much of it. It is what it is. We could do worse. We were horrible last year. There's not too much. We did sign. I'm sorry. We did sign Tyson Alualu. I like that move. We traded for Malcolm Brown. I like that move. And we signed Marvin Jones. These are solid signings. What I'm gathering from the Jaguars is they're not making the big splash, which is probably smart because, like I said, there wasn't anybody really in free agency worthy of making that big splash for, in my opinion. I think they would have made a big move for maybe Shaquille Barrett if he were free, maybe Chris Godwin if he was free. But a lot of those guys got snatched up. I heard Leonard Williams. Those guys got snatched up on the franchise tag and then ended up re-signing or one or the other. They didn't hit the market for long, at least, basically. So instead of panicking and overspending on lesser talent. They're taking sort of what I like to call a base hit strategy, where they're filling out the roster with solid players, players that are smart, play a role. Malcolm Brown, we needed to get tougher in the middle. The combination of adding Malcolm Brown and Rayshawn Jenkins, considering that Jenkins is a box safety, I think we got tougher. I think there was a concerted effort to stop the run and be stouter on defense. And if K'Lavon Chaisson and Josh Allen live up to their billing as pass rushers, you could see a quick turnaround, I think, on defense. I do still think we need to upgrade at free safety. Um, we'll see. We have a lot of draft capital, so we'll see how that goes. Um, and I think that's it for today, guys. If you got any questions, let me know. Please take the time to like and subscribe. Please, help support your boy. And until next time, guys, peace.